All right, welcome back. Today, we're going to tackle something that can feel, well, pretty mysterious, maybe even a little stressful. We're going to decode it, piece by piece. We are breaking down an English exam.
You know that feeling, right? You flip the exam paper over, the clock's ticking, and your mind just goes completely blank. We've all been there. But today, we're going to give you a map. So that feeling, yeah, that becomes a thing of the past. Okay, so let's dive right in. The paper we're looking at today is this one right here, Sri Lanka's GCE O-level English paper. Now, I know it can look a little intimidating at first glance, but our whole mission today is to decode it, to figure out what it's really asking you to do.
All right, first up, vocabulary and grammar. Think of it like this. You can't build a house without bricks and mortar, right? Well, in English, your vocabulary and grammar are those exact same building blocks. So, the exam kicks off by making sure your foundation is solid.
Okay, let's take a look at test 4. Seems simple, right? You're just filling in blanks with words like as, and, or but. But this isn't a trick question. It's actually a really crucial test of how you link ideas together. You know, if two things are opposite, you use but. If you're adding on, you use and. It's all about checking if you understand that logical flow. And then we have test 10. This one's a classic. You get a little story, and you've got to put the verbs in the right tense. The real point here isn't just to be a grammar quiz. It's about telling a clear story. I mean, if it all happened last weekend, your verbs have to be in the past tense. Simple as that. It's a fundamental skill for anyone trying to tell a story.
Now, test 12, this one can look a bit scary with those longer sentences. But hey, look closer. See how they start? If you jog, if you practiced. The second you spot that pattern, you realize, oh, this whole thing is just testing one simple rule. It's all about those if clauses, cause and effect. It's not scary at all, it's just a little puzzle waiting for you to solve it. So, here's the big takeaway from all this. These grammar questions, they're not random trivia, not at all. Each one is designed to test a very specific, very functional part of English that, honestly, you use every single day. It's really all about checking for clarity, for precision, and how you communicate.
Okay, so our foundation is solid. Let's move up to the next level, reading between the lines, because it's not just about knowing what the words are, it's about understanding the message they're trying to send. This is all about comprehension. So in test 15, we get this really cool passage about Ferdinand Magellan's historic voyage. You know, the first expedition to sail all the way around the globe. It's this great story of adventure and discovery, and what the exam wants to know is pretty simple. Can you follow along and pluck out the key details? And here's the secret. The answers are always hiding in plain sight, right there in the text. I mean, look at this quote. It tells you everything. The human cost of the trip, how important that ship's log was, and the huge scientific proof it offered. The skill here is basically being a detective. Can you find that one crucial piece of evidence that backs up your answer? So what are they really testing with a question like this? Well, it's pretty much three things. One, can you find specific facts, for those true or false questions? Two, can you read between the lines and figure out what's not being said directly? And three, can you use the context to guess what a word like explore or awful means without reaching for a dictionary? It's like a full workout for your reading brain. But comprehension isn't always about these big historical stories. Take a look at test 5. It uses a totally different format. You get 6 little facts about chipmunks, and your job is to sort them into the right categories. Like, is this about their habitat or their food? This is testing something just as important, how well you can organize information. And there's a really simple way to tackle this one. Instead of just reading and rereading, picture it like a table. Okay, which sentence talks about the animal family? That's number 1. What about habitat? Number 3. See? When you organize it like this, what seemed like a reading task suddenly becomes a super simple matching game. All right, section 3, mastering the written word. So far we've talked about understanding English. Now comes the really creative part, where you have to produce it yourself. This is where you get to show off your command of the language, going from just interpreting things to actually creating them. Let's check out test 14. You get a pie chart showing the future plans of grade 11 students. And your job is to translate that picture, all those percentages and slices, into a clear, well-written paragraph. About 100 words. That's it. And just look at that data. It instantly tells a story, doesn't it? Almost half the students, 48%, are aiming for state universities. And then way down at the other end, you've got a much smaller group, only 6% looking to work abroad.
The visual just makes the most important facts pop right out.
So, how do you even start writing about this? Well, the exam actually gives you clues, keywords like most and least. You can use those to build a super simple structure. Start with the biggest slice. Most students plan to then compare a couple of the other slices. Point out the ones that are the same, and then finish up with the smallest one. It's a foolproof formula for a great little paragraph.
And finally, we get to the big one, Test 16. This is the longer writing task. You get a few choices here. Write an article about TV, something about spending time with animals, or maybe a speech on healthy eating. This is your moment to really showcase everything, your vocabulary, your structure, your creativity, all in about 200 words. Staring at a blank page can be pretty terrifying. I get it. But there's a simple 4-step plan that works for any of these topics. Step 1, analyze the prompt. What are they actually asking for? A speech? An article? Who are you writing for? Step 2, brainstorm. Just quickly jot down 3 or 4 key points. Step 3, write. Get that first draft down on paper. And step 4, and this is the one everybody skips, review and edit. Read it over, fix the little mistakes. This simple framework puts you back in control. So there you have it. We've gone on a journey through this entire paper, from single words all the way to a full essay. Let's wrap things up and look at the key takeaways, your final exam strategy. Okay, so what have we learned? Let's boil it all down. First, the exam is built on 3 core skills: grammar, reading, and writing. That's it. Second, and this is so important, none of the questions are there to trick you. Every single one has a clear purpose. Third, even the most complex tasks can be broken down into simple, manageable steps. And finally, remember the whole point of this isn't just to pass an exam, it's to show that you can communicate effectively in the real world. You know, we started out looking at this paper like it was some big, intimidating challenge. But now that we've broken it down, you can see it's not some monster you have to be afraid of. It's just a map, and you just have to know how to read it. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that it's decoded, what's the very first step you're going to take?